Hi, this is Finn from IELTS United. In this video, I'm going to be reading an essay for you. The purpose of this activity is to help you with pronunciation. By reading IELTS essays, I hope that you'll be able to hear how IELTS language should be pronounced. At the end of the essay reading, I will also be highlighting some useful IELTS vocabulary and phrases, and then go through the definitions so you can use them in your essay. Okay, let's get started. Today's academic writing task 1 question is: news editors decide what to broadcast on television and what to print in newspapers. What factors do you think influence these decisions? Do we become used to bad news? Would it be better if more good news was reported? Here is the Band 9 model answer. It has often been said that good news is bad news because it does not sell newspapers. A radio station that once decided to present only good news soon found that it had gone out of business for lack of listeners. Bad news, on the other hand, is so common that in order to cope with it, we often simply ignore it. We have become immune to bad news, and the newspapers and radio stations are aware of this. While newspapers and TV stations may aim to report world events accurately, be they natural or human disasters, political events, or the horrors of war, it is also true that their main objective is to sell newspapers and attract listeners and viewers to their stations. For this reason, TV and radio stations attempt to reflect the flavour of their station by providing news broadcasts tailor-made to suit their listeners' preferences. Programs specialising in pop music or TV soap operas focus more on local news, home issues, and up-to-date traffic reports. The more serious stations and newspapers like to provide so-called objective news reports with editorial comment aimed at analysing the situation. If it is true then that newspapers and TV stations are tailoring their news to their readers' and viewers' requirements, how can they possibly be reporting real-world events in an honest and objective light? Many radio and TV stations do, in fact, report items of good news, but they no longer call this news. They refer to these as human interest stories and package them in programs specialising, for instance, in consumer affairs or local issues. Good news now comes to us in the form of documentaries, the fight against children's cancer or AIDS, or the latest developments in the fight to save the planet from environmental pollution. Now we're going to go through some vocabulary and phrases in the essay. I will also give you the definitions of the words and a few more examples. The first word we will look at is the word lack. If there is a lack of something, it means that something is not available or that there is not enough of it. For example, her only problem is a lack of confidence. The second word we'll have a look at is the word immune. The word immune, in the context of the essay, means to be not affected or upset by something. For example, they had criticised her so often that in the end she had become immune, meaning eventually she was not affected by their criticism. The next word is objective. An objective is something that you plan to do or achieve. For example, her main objective now is simply to stay in power. Or, his objective was to beat the IELTS exam. The next word is flavour. Flavour has a few different meanings, but in this instance it means a particular quality or character of something. For example, the resort has a nautical flavour, nautical meaning to do with the sea. Now we will look at the word tailor-made. Tailor-made means specially made for a particular purpose. For example, a tailor-made course. So in the essay, the broadcasts were specially made for their listeners. The next word is up-to-date. Up-to-date means modern, recent, or containing the latest information. So if you recently update a computer program to the newest version, then the program would be up to date. The next word, editorial, means an article in a newspaper that expresses the editor's opinion on something. For example, all the papers deal with the same subject in their editorials. We will now look at an academic phrase. This phrase is for instance, and it is another way to say for example. Here is an example sentence. In the electronics industry, for instance, 5,000 jobs are being lost. And the last word we will look at today is the word consumer. A consumer is a person who buys goods or services for their own use. For example, the new rates will affect all consumers, including businesses. Okay, thank you very much for listening. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe to our channel. And if you would like more free resources, join us on Facebook, Telegram, and Instagram. The links are in the description.